little ball of fluff with us, haven't we, Bonnie? Hello. Good girl.
Oh, she's
Got my friend Chloe.
Hi.
And we've got her beautiful baby Addie. We're just out for a walk, walking the dog and the baby.
I can't
in the
stop.
park.
Can't stop moving the pram. Keep it going.
Hello, beautiful baby girl. Hello. I'm back home now. It was so nice to see Chloe. She's one of my university friends from my first university course in Sheffield, and she's on maternity leave at the moment with little Addie, and she lives about half an hour away from me, so I just thought it'd be really nice to go and meet up and have a walk. I don't know about you guys, but I've been finding that COVID has made me feel a bit down in the dumps sometimes. Especially like not being able to see friends and family, and I feel like I'm such a sociable person. I really need that, so I need to remember to get back on Zoom calls and like as far as we're allowed to see people in person, obviously keeping a safe social distance, but that has just properly perked me up. It was so nice to see Chloe and Addie, and yeah, Bonnie loved it. She's fast asleep now. She's gone for a big nap. Absolutely wore her out. I think we walked like 16,000 steps. So big old walk for a tiny little dog. But yeah, I just thought I would do a little vlog this week, catch up with you guys, see how you're doing. Oh, there's quite a lot to tell you about all of that, so I think I'll tell you later in this vlog. You gorgeous girl. Get some sleep in your eyes. I'm feeling good after getting my finances in order yesterday. Still got a couple of more bits to do on that. But this morning I have been working on my clinic. So if you guys saw my last vlog, I actually set up my own aesthetics clinic. Well, things haven't worked out so well there. The people that I was renting from need the room back, so I'm now looking for new premises, and I'm desperately trying to look for new customers as well. So I'm not so great at the whole online marketing thing, so I've enlisted some help with that. I've got a VA, a virtual assistant, who's working on that with me, and he is just fantastic. His name's Mick. He's actually the person who makes my newsletters look really beautiful. He does all the graphics and everything for that. So if you guys aren't subscribed to my newsletter, then have a look in the description box below. I've put a link to it. I just share all the things that I would normally send to my friends and family, like all the recommendations of TV shows, books, podcasts, and things that I've been buying online and loving. I send it all to you guys because lots of you do send me messages asking for recommendations for things, and I love sharing that kind of stuff. That is just the things that I would share with my friends and family anyway. So click the link down below if you want to get involved in that. Are you having a mad 5 minutes, Bonnie? Our house is an absolute tip because of this little cheeky pup. It's Sunday today, and yesterday my mum and stepdad came to visit. It was just glorious. They live down in Essex, and my stepdad's a teacher, so they're quite limited about when they can actually go away and travel and do things. And yesterday, yeah, they've been in half term at the moment, so they came to see Vince and I and to meet Bonnie for the first time. And yesterday evening was when the lockdown measures for England were announced, so I feel really lucky that I got to see them before we head into another lockdown. I took them out for a long muddy walk, and it was pouring with rain, horizontal rain. It was really windy, pretty grotty walk to be honest with you. And then we got back in to have some lunch, and lo and behold, the sky cleared, beautiful blue skies came out, and it was really sunny. Then they headed off and went to go and see my little brother, who's just started university at a uni not too far from me. So yeah, I just had such a nice day. It was it's like food for the soul to be able to see my family, and yeah, missing them lots, and I'm sure you guys can understand as well, missing family and friends. So today I'm working my first night shift in ages. I can't remember if I've mentioned earlier in this video or not, but I've only done one shift since I was off with COVID, so I've basically had like a month off, and I'm feeling ready to go back. I'm quite nervous about the tiredness, because the last shift I did, I was like ready to leave after about 5 hours. I was so exhausted, but I will just try and pace myself. I'll let my bosses know that I haven't been working much and that I've been off sick, and yeah, just to try and make sure I do a really thorough job, and you know, ask the team for support if I need it, ask people to check my work or whatnot. Always better to be safe in healthcare. So yes, Vince and I are having a really chilled out day today. He is just currently putting a roast dinner on to cook, and while that's cooking we're going to head out and walk the dog along the fields, and yeah, then we're going to sit down and watch the Downton Abbey movie after the roast, and then I'm going to have a little nap. So Vince and I are out on our walk with Bonnie, and we've just been talking about the house that we're about to buy, that we've had our offer accepted on. It's quite a lot bigger than our house at the moment, and it's got a lot more space around it, which we're really excited about for the dog.
Yeah.
And do you want to tell everyone what you were just saying?
So the house is not what we were going for, well, not what we were planning to go for, but there was something that clinched it, which was, it came with its own 4 acres of wood.
Yeah.
And I didn't realise I wanted that as a criteria for my next house.
Yep.
But now that's it, that's sold it for us.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's something that I've always really wanted but never really had a reason for. I've always wanted a digger, and I'm like, I've got a reason to have a digger now.
I don't think you've got a reason to have one though. Like, what are we going to dig up?
There's space for me to have a digger. Like, just because I want to dig a hole. I think I'm just a dog deep down.
The chef in action over here. Looks really good. Is that fun, Bonnie? Can you eat more carrot? Time for work. My break. I went and had some nice veggies and hummus and yogurt. Didn't look that appealing, but it was tasty, and I like to eat nice and nutritious food that's quite low GI on night shifts. That's just what works for me over years of experimentation. So I'm back from work now, just had a shower, washed my hair, and I'm getting ready for my daytime sleep. As you can see, the dog was going crazy when I got home. So yeah, it was a good shift, a good first shift back actually. I was on the short stay unit of A&E, and the short stay unit is a part of A&E where a doctor has already clerked the patient, come up with a diagnosis and a management plan, and then they go to the short stay unit for waiting for investigation results that might determine whether or not they're going to go home or stay in hospital. It's quite different from working in majors or minors or resus, because you're not actually the one clerking the patient and making a diagnosis and making a plan. You're just following the plan that another doctor has already come up with, and then keeping all of those patients stable, checking any blood results and acting on them appropriately, or any scan results. And then some people are just there for a period of observation, and because patients are patients, they can deteriorate, so sometimes you have a really busy shift there, with patients becoming more unwell and you've got a lot to do. Other times it can be fairly stable and fairly nice. Last night there was another doctor working there with me. Normally there's only one doctor, but for some reason we had two, and it was really lovely. She was there till 3 a.m, so we just cracked on with the jobs, and yeah, it was a nice level of workload, not too busy. So I saw a few interesting things. I saw, obviously I'll keep it confidential, I saw a patient who had been in a car accident and had hit their head, and the scan was inconclusive about whether there was any bleeding internally. So that patient was discussed with the neurosurgery team, and the neurosurgery team said that this patient didn't need to be admitted under neurosurgery, but they needed to stay in hospital for a period of observations. If any of you are interested in neurosurgery, then I actually did a neurosurgery job as part of my rotations as a junior doctor, and you can check out a few of my vlogs up here, and I'll link some down below. I had such a great time. I got involved in a lot of actual brain surgery, so definitely go and have a look at those once you've finished watching this video. Some other things I saw: someone with a blood clot in their leg, someone with pyelonephritis, which is an infection of the kidney. So how that happens is someone can get a bladder infection, which is called cystitis, or a UTI, urinary tract infection, and the infection can track up the tubes that connect to the kidney and cause an infection. And when that happens, people tend to become systemically unwell. So systemically means your whole body feeling unwell. So people often have fevers, there might be vomiting, they get pain in their back around where their kidney is. I also saw someone who had been assaulted and they had some facial fractures, and they were being reviewed by the ophthalmology doctors, the maxillofacial doctors, and the neurosurgeons. Another patient had an arrhythmia, which is when your heart is beating out of rhythm. So A is the prefix that means against, and rhythm for the rhythm of the heart, so arrhythmia. I also saw someone who they thought they'd had a heart attack, and we do a blood test called a troponin, and that can tell if there's been any damage to the heart muscle. And I also saw an elderly person who had had a fall and they'd been on the floor for a long time. And one of the things that we worry about with people who have fallen is obviously fractures and injuries and head injuries, rib fractures and things like that. I've talked in another one of these videos, a case discussion video, about what we'd look for in a chest examination when you're thinking that someone might have some rib fractures. So again, I'll link that up above and down below so you can check that out, because I go into a lot of detail about it there. Another thing that we think about when people have been on the floor for a long time is rhabdomyolysis. And rhabdomyolysis is the breakdown of your muscle tissue. Being in one position on the floor can crush your muscles and actually cause the muscle tissue to start breaking down. And when the muscle tissue starts breaking down, it goes into the bloodstream and can actually be damaging to the kidneys. We do a blood test to look for this called creatine kinase, and if that level is high, then we need to give patients fluids through a drip to help flush it out, and so that the kidneys don't get damaged by it. And then if it is high, then we need to do a repeat blood test after they've had some IV fluids to make sure that the levels are going down. And if they're not, then they need to be kept in hospital so that we can keep an eye on their kidney function and on their creatine kinase levels. So that's just a little interesting point about that. And then finally, another patient was someone who had a potential exposure to carbon monoxide, and we treat that with high flow oxygen. And if the levels of carbon monoxide in the blood are particularly high, then they get transferred to go and have hyperbaric oxygen treatment, which is oxygen treatment given in a high pressure chamber. And carbon monoxide doesn't smell of anything, you can't detect it yourself, so it's really important to make sure that you have a carbon monoxide detector in your house. I haven't actually seen many cases of carbon monoxide poisoning in A&E, so because the department wasn't so busy when I was working, I had a bit of time to do some reading. There's some really good resources online that I had a look at, and it was very interesting to have a bit of time to read about. I normally write down the cases that I've seen on a shift, and then when I come home, if there's anything that particularly interests me or I'm not so sure about, then I end up doing some extra background reading. And I would just say to any of you who are medical students or work in healthcare, or you're planning to work in healthcare, if you do any work experience, or you're on the wards or in a GP practice at any given point, and you're doing that face-to-face experience, I would definitely recommend you just keeping a list or a little notebook with you of the just jotting down some conditions that you've seen and doing some extra reading about them. So anyway, I I'm going to go now. I'm going to go to sleep, get a good night's rest or a good day's rest, and then plan the rest of my week. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. It's been a long one, but hopefully entertaining. I'm glad to be back vlogging and chatting with all of you guys. Leave me a comment down below if you've enjoyed this video, and as always, if you've watched all the way to the end, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye guys.